Hello, Fabulous Superstar Capricorn. Welcome to your horoscope for the month of June 2018. Looking at life and love, I am your astrologer, Nadiya Shah. Thank you for being here. What an amazing month it is. We do have an active sky, but for you in particular, it is a very important sky indeed. And what is it that makes it so important? Well, it really is highlighted towards the end of the month because that is when we are going to have a full moon in your sign. So for you in particular, I'm starting at the end and going forward from there. That full moon in your sign in the last days of this month is a powerful one. And what makes it powerful is, well, for you, because it's in your sign. That's one thing that makes it powerful. It means that it connects that much more powerfully to matters of heart and identity, and an awareness of ultimately the things that matter to you most and what matters to you first, and all of that, and emotion coming very much to the surface. But the other part of this is the fact that this full moon is happening hand in hand with Saturn. Now, you've had Saturn in your sign since late last year, and this is really an almost 3-year cycle that you are right now in the middle in, sort of in the first part of. And this ultimately is saying to me, as I look at this, that you are making a decision. You are coming to an understanding of what really matters, what's going to matter to you, not only now, but in the bigger picture. What is it that is really worth your time? Saturn is really big on time. And Saturn ultimately asks you to put in the time to reap any reward, which Saturn also represents. You have to be willing to make the sacrifice of time and the sacrifice of effort and have that matched by the universe. Wherever Saturn is, whether it's by transit, meaning where it is now, or whether it's in your birth chart, it is an area of life in which you are asked to give, and in accordance to what you give, you will get. Not more. That's Jupiter. Like wherever Jupiter goes, you give, and the universe responds 10 times, 20 times. When it's an eclipse, the universe responds like in all kinds of different ways that you didn't expect, right? So ultimately what this says to me is that you are coming to some truth about yourself, and you are accepting some truth about yourself and your circumstances. You are looking at where it is that you have poured a lot of energy, and you're making an assessment. Is this a place that you want your energy to continue to go or not? For some of you, this is going to be dramatic. It's going to be a big turning point for you where you really realize what is no longer getting your energy anymore. A particular situation, whether it's professional, whether it's personal, whether it's some element of you that you've been holding on to too long, and you're realizing that you are ready to live in a more open way and to live in a more joyous way, and you're letting go of the negativity in favor of all the positive things there are to live for right here, right now. All of this starts to come to your awareness, starts to come to the surface, and it lends itself to not only a choice, but a powerful change in path as well. Now, since we're talking about heart and what you feel, of course, this can be, as I said, related to a variety of situations. What is it that ultimately is most on the surface for you is what will be most part of this decision-making process. Having said that, though, of course, if we're talking about heart, we've also got to talk about love. Love tends to be one of those things that makes us most aware of what we feel, and not just in relation to that dynamic, but what we feel about any area of our life comes very much to the surface when we are learning about ourselves through love at a particular time. Now, love is a very interesting space for you this particular month that I really love. So the first 10 days or so of the month, we've got Venus in your opposite sign. This tends to be really nice for love. If you're open to meeting someone new, it helps you to attract new love into your life, and it helps you attract people who have long-term potential. So there's something about them, whether you're envisioning that something more could happen here, or whether it is their characteristics, there's something that allows you to think of it as more than just the moment, but even beyond the moment as well. You're thinking more bigger picture with the people that you're attracting into your life, and they tend to have something more stable about them as well. So you can enjoy that energy in the first part of the month. Make sure you're out and about and meeting all kinds of people. Also, with Venus in your opposite sign, if you're in an established bond, it can be really nice for those of you in established bonds because it tends to represent a time when your partner is receiving blessings. And as a result of that, it is really nice for your relationship. So whether it is that they just are a lot easier to get along with, or they're just, showering you with more affection or more generosity, or whether it is that things are going really well in their life and you're happy for them, these are the types of scenarios that can come up, but it does tend to make just for a sweeter, softer path. And these are the moments that you absolutely want to cherish, because in any relationship, especially if it's one that you are actively learning through each other and you're strongly attracted to each other and you're in a relationship, well, there tends to be a lot of negotiating that can happen. And there'll be moments when you feel where it's a little bit easier than it might be at other times. Well, this can be one of those moments that feels a little bit easier, and that can be really nice. And that's the first part of the month. After Venus leaves your opposite sign, as I said, right around the 10th of the month, there will immediately be a new moon. And I'll talk about that in a moment. But then it's in the days following the new moon, right around the 14 or 15, depending on where you are on the planet. There's something very interesting that's happening that's going to be important for you to pay attention to. And what it is ultimately, it is an activation. It is the moon moving over what is called the eclipse point. And what that means is it's important to watch what's happening in those particular days. Next month is a big month for you. Now, I actually spoke about this in the 2018 video that I did for your sign, right? I talked about how very soon a series of eclipses are going to begin. It's going to start in your opposite sign this summer of 2018, before the nodes move into your sign and your opposite sign late in the year, right? Now, here we are. We are having an important activation before eclipse happens, the first eclipse in your opposite sign. And you are going to experience a series of eclipses in your sign and your opposite sign over the course of the next 2 years or so. So this is important to watch this month, because it is going to be an allusion. It is going to be a foreshadow, if you will, as to what is coming up for you next month. Next month, an eclipse is going to happen in your opposite sign. And of course, I'll be here to talk about it as we go along, but that represents big changes, big breakthroughs, big new opportunities, new possibilities, new definitions of established love. And things can move very quickly. They can leap very much into your future when you have an eclipse in your opposite sign. So that's what you're preparing for, really, in a big way this month. You've got this sweet and soft energy in the early part of the month. Then you start getting the foreshadowing just as the sweet energy is leaving. You start getting a foreshadowing, and this will let you know which way the wind is blowing. You still want to be open to the surprise, but the way that eclipses work is that if you are someone who's striving to live consciously, right? You're striving to be aware of yourself and your motivations, and you're learning from your environment, then eclipses tend to bring with them breakthroughs, and they tend to bring with them clarity and opportunity. But if you are somebody who's not necessarily striving to live more consciously, like that's not an aim that you have, well, that's okay too, right? No problem with that at all. But just know that if that's the case, then what happens is eclipses really surprise you. They really feel like they come out of nowhere, and developments take place. And actually, I think that there are not enough surprises in life, so you can enjoy that for what it's worth as well. But given that Saturn is in your sign, given that full moon you're moving towards, well, ultimately, what this tells me is that there's a sincere desire for some predictability in your life, some stability in your life. And so it might be good to be a little bit aware, especially in the early part of the month, in the middle of the month in particular, because it is going to be what transpires then, which will give you a subtle clue into the breakthroughs that are coming up a little bit later. Now, finally, I want to mention two things, because I spent a lot of time talking about the bigger energies that are going to be most relevant to you, but we have another relevant energy to you, and that is the new moon. There's a new moon taking place this month in a part of the sky for you that has to do with the workplace and your work environment, the type of work that you're doing. It also has to do with how well you are caring for yourself. And the way that Neptune is speaking to this new moon tells me that a lot of people out there are going to feel like they've dipped into a Mercury retrograde, okay? So this particular new moon is happening just a couple of days before that foreshadowing that I told you about, right? So depending on where you are, right around the 12th or 13th of the month is when you'll feel this energy. What can also happen at this time is that information that you get from a coworker or immediate supervisor or client or customer is not necessarily accurate. And so whether it's intentional, whether it's not intentional, be mindful of these days surrounding this. You know, sometimes people in the best of intentions, not realizing it, thinking that they're giving you the right answer or the right information, it may not actually be that way. And so of course you want to give people the benefit of the doubt always, but at the same time, just be aware, you know, like just double check if you can. But ultimately what this energy is asking you to do is to consider where it is that there's work that you'd rather be doing or that you want to be doing. Where is it that you can actually bring a level of mindfulness to what it is that you are doing, and that will help balance the energy tremendously. What I love about this month for you is that in addition to all this, we also have Mars going retro right around the 26th of the month. And this is going to start an important time for you of considering your values. And ultimately later on in the Mars retrograde season, it comes back to you and it comes back to self. This truly is a powerful time where you are understanding power differently and using it more responsibly. And that is the measure of someone truly powerful. Well, thank you so much for watching. You can get a video like this every week by logging on to astrofabulous.com or nadiyashah.com. Sign up to be one of my superstars. Superstars get expanded, exclusive video scopes each and every week, unlimited access to all the special horoscopes I put out, and so much more. All of this in the superstar space. And of course, all kinds of special horoscopes are available right now on my website, nadiyashah.com, including Mars retrograde specials, which I hope you love and enjoy. Well, thank you again. It'll be a great month. Enjoy.